Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count up to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Swag.
Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
There isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life. So don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit, a custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started. It's Monday night. And for the second to last week, the SCT Truck Series is going short track racing at the virtual Gateway Motorsports Park. Live on VSPEED, it's the orangespeedvantage.ai 200. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. So here tonight, breaking down the points. We've got about a minute left of qualifying. These drivers get set for what is a tricky 1.25 mile oval shaped similar to Darlington. The opposite aspect, turns 1 and 2, a little bit narrower. A lot wider groove, though, to get around this racetrack. These drivers will have a little bit of banking to work with to make a pass. Turns 3 and 4, in my opinion, the best on the service. Let's talk a little bit about our points battle right now. Ross Phillips has a 13-point lead over Nick Gardner, who has really turned up the heat here as of late in the end of the season. Sean Langton, 17 points back. Justin Ritchie, who got that win last week at Talladega in a catastrophe of a finish. We were joined by Morgan Cook in that. He'll be back out on the racetrack tonight, starting outside the pole as well. So there's a little bit of asterisk for you. From the booth to the front row for Morgan Cook. But ultimately, it boils down Ross Phillips with just a stellar performance all season long. He's maintained the points lead since week number 4 and hasn't looked back. We've had a few takers that have gotten within 5 points of him several times, but even with the reset of points, he's maintained that gap and kept it up there in the top position. So kudos to Ross Phillips. Does anyone have a challenge for him? Let's find out. Let's get down track side and get your grid now. This gives us an excellent time to talk a little bit about Bald Head Island Vacations. Starting up on the pole with another pole award. How many times is this guy going to start in the front row before he wins a race? Dakota Floyd in the number 24. He's going to put it up front here tonight at Gateway. 13 cars going to be out there on the grid. Bald Head Island Vacations. 14 miles of island off of the Cape Fear River. You can check him out at baldheadislandvacations.com. All right, so there's Dakota Floyd. Let's take you through the rest of your grid. Starting outside is Morgan Cook. He is within 0.06 of a second here tonight. Row number 2 is going to belong to Nick Gardner. That second place points battle. And Sean Langton, third place in the points. They're going to start side by side. Next row is going to have Kyle Stewart with Brian Hennings in 6th spot. 7th, John Sanu with Ross Phillips, the points leader, rolling out in 8th. And rounding out that top 10 here tonight, we have Thad Miller in the number 13 with Justin Ritchie, last week's winner at Talladega. 11th spot's going to belong to Todd Cleveland. Rick Fagone's going to start 12th, and I said 13 cars, but Garrett Helmlinger not electing to grid here tonight. He's going to be track steward of the day here. And we have 12 trucks rolling off the start-finish line right now as we speak. So here we go, Floyd, Cook, side by side. Personally love this racetrack. It always makes for a good show. But for 188 miles, 145 laps, the SCT Truck Series is going to square off in the second to last race of the season.
Good luck.
It just occurred to me that I forgot to turn off race chatter, so hopefully, just by some slim chance of a margin, we can get that fixed before we go entirely green. But let's see what we got here. Got the spotter on too, but green flag is out, and we're live and racing at Gateway for the Orange Speed Vantage AI 200. Number 1, it's going to be the number 24 of Dakota Floyd. He pulls out ahead of the 51 of Morgan Cook, and Nick Gardner gets up to the second position. Let's talk about a guy that really has been putting the practice in here as of late. It shows out here in the results as well. He started to really turn up the heat at the Roval, and now here he sits in the second position at Gateway. Put on a decent performance last week at Talladega. Good enough that he put himself in a spot. We still got a lot of work to do here for the 16 of Nick Gardner. He's got to get around the 24 of Dakota Floyd, who's led the first 2 laps that we've completed. Morgan Cook falling back a little bit here to the clutches of Kyle Stewart. And that top 5 starting to tighten up from 3rd back to 6th. Ross Phillips up a position already as we go on board here with the number 5. Phillips 2.3 seconds back from the lead. So he has his work cut out for him as well with the 8th place starting spot. John Sanu back here under fire from Rick Fagone. Ricky up 3 spots from where he began this race, already on the move pretty securely, and then venture to say that Rick didn't take a qualifying lap. Maybe wanted to feel out how this track was going to handle in traffic. There's a pass there now for 4th position. Langton on the outside of Stewart into the tight turns 1 and 2. On the outside here is Langton. He's going to get a good run down the backstretch and give a little push here to his teammate Morgan Cook. And a little bit harder on the brakes for Cook. That made Langton have to check up unexpectedly, and the 41's going to hang on here for another lap on the inside of the 51. Still side by side, almost peaking 3 wide. The 8 of Langton decides to go to the inside this time. And now Phillips joins the battle as they try to sort this out. The 5 peaks to the outside here. Going to take it 3 wide now with the 74 of Hennings now on the bottom. And into the wall there, almost into Cook. Cook probably not going to be too happy with that aggression as he gets up into the door of the 5. Runs him out wide through 1 and 2. Not happy with that move. And now John Sanu's going to get by. The 51's starting to struggle a little bit here, but maybe felt like that move was a little early for that 3 wide, and the patience level, the 5 into the wall again, bouncing it hard off of 4. And Sanu now all over the back bumper of Phillips, and there's a pass for 3rd position. Langton's going to go by on the inside of Stewart. Back here to Sanu getting around the 74 of Hennings into the wall. The 51 touches the wall. This track's starting to tighten up. Dakota Floyd and Nick Gardner in the cleaner air, pulling away from this pack about 2.3 seconds now ahead of Sean Langton. 0.3 of a second is Floyd. He drops a gear. You can hear him clutch it and bring it down to speed, using that drive off, a little bit like New Hampshire. So 10 laps started here, with 9 of them in the books. Floyd's led all of them, but he's been kept honest by the 16 Celsius Chevrolet of Nick Gardner. We talk about that 13-point deficit at the start of this race. Gardner needs to have a bigger gap over Ross Phillips if he wants any shot at it in the last week at Chicagoland. And if you're like me, I much prefer Chicagoland over the Chicago street course. I'm glad that these drivers chose on the schedule to go there. I think that track is very underrated. But I also feel that this track's very underrated for the action that it's been putting on so far. The lead less than half a second apart. Langton's starting to shave down a little bit on that time. He picked up 2/10 that last lap. He's matching lap times with Dakota Floyd, so he is catching up to Gardner, who's been trying to chase down Floyd since the beginning of this race. Phillips, he's up to 5th now, but that truck has seen the wall at least 3 times since the green flag. He's in some cleaner air now, and I have to run it out as wide. But here he sits in the 5th spot, 3.6 seconds back, and a little bit of right side damage on that V-Speed G Fuel Chevrolet. There's Brian Hennings just behind him. Hennings having a pretty, I wouldn't say complacent race. He is holding his own in 6th, but hasn't moved since the beginning. I'm sure he doesn't want to be there. He would like to be up in this top 3 battling for the lead, but here he sits right now. 2 V-Speed logos on the banner for these machines, racing for the 5th spot. So Rick Fagone up a couple more, up 5 now from where he began this race. And I'd say that Ricky's starting to figure this track out. I know he dreads this place. We talked a little bit about it last week. Not a huge fan of Gateway. But I can remember coming out here leading for the very first time ever being on this racetrack and coming out and just absolutely loving it. It's definitely a driver's racetrack, and if you can figure out the braking points and how to diamond these corners, you'll have a good time. Morgan Cook down 7 spots just behind John Sanu, running in 8th. Sanu was up there battling for that top 5 at one point, but I think had contact with the wall. Same with Cook. And Cook just got ran out wide. I'd have to say that that was a bad spot there for the 5 to try to make that pass. I know it's the widest portion of the racetrack, but the patience level there probably didn't bide well with the teammate, and he falls back to 9th. There's Justin Ritchie, last week's winner, in 10th spot. And as we go through this field, we're just about at the tail end of it, but they've stayed right on top of each other within 6 seconds. Here's Todd Cleveland, who also had a shot last week at getting a win. And you can hear how much these drivers are letting off to get through these corners. A lot of work left to be done here. The 44 of Cleveland at the tail end of this pack. Lead stretches out to half a second now. 2/10 picked up here by Floyd. He was about a 10th faster that last time by. They traded lap times for the first 10, but now Floyd's starting to show the speed and show that clean air is king, and it's key to maintaining this right front tire. New iRacing build just come out. Week 13. Debuted last week. If you haven't got a chance to get on the service and try out the new dynamic track data, it's back, it works, and it's good to feel what the iRacing service introduced to us back in 2018 back onto the service. And I have to say that I'm loving it. I love the racing that it produces. It's another factor into your long run setup. And as you can see, Floyd already got it figured out. Drives to the bottom of 3 and 4, pulls off another 1/10 of a second over Nick Gardner, and this lead stretching out now to 6/10. And you can hear the difference in RPM. Some of these drivers coming off of turn 2 in 3rd gear, others coming out in 4th. Let's ride on board with Floyd. You can hear the downshift here. Hard on the brakes there to get into 1 and 2. And a good drive off out of 3rd gear. Now let's go on board with Rick Fagone and see if he's downshifting. This is actually into 3 and 4, so I have to go back around the racetrack one time. He's downshifting here into 3 and 4. There's John Sanu making a move there to the inside for 7th position. As we talk about that, another battle heating up just behind him. Justin Ritchie and Morgan Cook catching up to the back of the 10. Todd Cleveland on the back bumper of Thad Miller. Riding on board with the number 13. And a little misshift there for the 13. Had a little hiccup there on the backstretch. You can hear the RPMs kind of get stuck. And that's allowing the 44 of Cleveland to get to the inside here for the 11th position. On lap 22, Thad Miller's going to fall back. One spot. John Sanu gets the inside of Brian Hennings here for 6. Sanu now turning up the heat. Maybe save those tires long enough. Sanu down to the bottom. Gonna try to complete this pass in 3 and 4. Not quite clear just yet. Still side by side. Hennings almost clips the safer barrier coming out that exit. They're gonna be door to door across the finish line. Hennings gonna send it deep into 1 and 2 and a little wide there, and I think this is gonna do it for the 6th spot. Into the wall there and right in front of Fagone. Hennings almost bounces off the wall and comes across the nose of the 10. The 10's able to check up just in time. Now gets to the outside of the 74. And another door-to-door moment, drag racing down the front stretch. This is for the 7th position and a 2 for 1 as Hennings falls back behind Cook. Morgan Cook trying to work his way back up there into the top 3. So Langton was catching up to Nick Gardner. I saw that there was less than a second separating these two, but now we look at the relative and it's over 2.5. Let's go back on the instant replay and see if we can find out what happened to Sean Langton here. I don't know if he got loose. Something happened to this 8 truck that separated him. There it is right there. So that would explain the gap growing back to 2.7 seconds. The gap for the lead has stayed stagnant at about 0.6, and so the top 3 has stayed the same. Floyd, Gardner, Langton. Then you have Stewart and Phillips, the top 5. Phillips about 6 seconds back, has some right side damage, and Stewart quietly sitting in the 4th spot. Phillips actually losing a little bit of time there last time by to John Sanu. They matched lap times a bit at the start of this run, and John Sanu really doing a phenomenal job of saving these tires and having something for the end in this later run. This does give us an opportunity here to talk a little bit about Orange Speed. And everything that they've got going on right now. Orange Speed Vantage AI. iRacing setups personalized to your own driving style. It's a must-have tool for every iRacing subscriber. You can visit orangespeedvantage.ai to learn more. The Orange Speed SRT group, the world's first values-driven sim racing team. You can be your best with the Orange Speed SRT. Go to orangespeed.net to find out what's going on there. But 29 laps into this race, and the Orange Speed Vantage machine of Morgan Cook is back to 8th after starting in the 2nd position. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances here tonight for Morgan Cook in the Orange Speed Vantage 200, but it's Dakota Floyd leading over Nick Gardner by 1.3 seconds. 30 laps into this race. There's a nice overlook of the St. Louis Arch. Gateway Motorsports Park just off of Ohio Avenue, where the Ohio River meets the Mississippi. Here we go for another series, and these drivers going to be coming up on green flag pit stops here momentarily. But, excuse me, for the sake of my voice, it's that time of year where the cold just destroys everyone's vocal cords. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back live on VSPEED, the orangespeedvantage.ai 200. We'll be back right after this. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life, so don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit. A custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live, the orangespeedvantage.ai 200 Gateway. We're 38 laps into the 145 lap race, and it's been the number 24 of Dakota Floyd who's led every single one of them. Excuse me. That lead stretches out to 2.5 seconds. And with the 24 of Floyd in that clean air, it has to be an advantage. He's been up front the whole race, took over on the inside row from lap 1. He's just been able to put it out there a little bit quicker than Gardner and Langton, and a lot of it having to do with that clean air. And I want people to notice this because I've noticed it several times as we come down the backstretch. Get a good look at what's on that backstretch right there. Now, that's an emergency pit road. I'd have to say that these drivers could pull over at any point and use that porta-john, but that is a unique track feature that I never thought I'd see at any racetrack. I think I would actually pay to see somebody go the other way and hit that thing. 24 of Dakota Floyd coming down pit road now on lap 40. Just about a quarter of the way through. And here he comes down pit road. A couple other drivers already electing to pit. The 55 of Justin Ritchie hit pit road. He's 9 laps on this stint. Thad Miller was just behind him, about 4 laps after the fact. So these two drivers have hit that stint. Nick Gardner going to lead his first laps of the day in the number 16. And now he's going to bring it down pit road. Let's see if he can get on and off pit road quicker. Looking a little loose there on the entrance. But there it is. Langton right behind. Close behind. About 0.6 of a second. So John Sanu going to stay out. Morgan Cook just behind him. First and second position change hands for a moment as Gardner and Langton hit their pit stall. Johnson is staying out another lap. Morgan Cook as well. Dakota Floyd back out on the racetrack now. Has a tremendous gap to Nick Gardner of 2.8 seconds. As Gardner's just now coming out of pits. And now here comes John Sanu and Morgan Cook down into the pit road. Whoa, contact. The 51 gets into the back of the 86. Close call there for the 51. Floyd resumes the lead, takes it back over 4.2 seconds over Nick Gardner. And he has nothing but clean air in front of him. Gardner is shaving off a little bit of that time. Last time by. But I tell you what, Floyd just can maintain this gap of over 3 seconds. I think he's going to set sail into the sunset. Speaking of setting sail, discover Bald Head Island's just 20 minutes off of North Carolina's coast, where the Cape Fear River meets the Atlantic. You can arrive by ferry and explore by golf cart. Experience nature's paradise with 14 miles of beaches, lush maritime forest, and 10,000 acres of salt marsh. Whether it's a weekend trip or longer, you can find your perfect vacation home at baldheadislandvacations.com. So Dakota Floyd, your leader, Nick Gardner, and then a massive gap back to Sean Langton. Not sure if Langton made a mistake. He came out of pit road just behind Gardner, but now finds himself 6.5 seconds back from the number 16. So this has been a struggle for the number 8 here tonight. Hasn't had the short track speed that we normally see from the number 8. Rick Fagone works his way into the top 5 after pit stops. How about that for the number 10? He pitted in the 8th position, now in 4th. And so the 10 has figured something out here. And he's actually catching up to the number 8 of Langton. He's about half a second back. Let's see if he can catch him. He's on the back bumper now for the third spot. Into the inside now into 1 and 2. The number 10 dives it down. The 8 just lets him have it. Not going to contest that. He knows that the 10's a little bit faster. And so giving up that position. And the 8 looking like he's struggling big time here. Lets the 5 go by as well. Five of Phillips is up 4 positions from where he began this race, but still with Nick Gardner being ahead of him a little bit. And you got John Sanu that could possibly be in the picture here momentarily. We saw the long run speed from the 86 earlier in this battle. I think John Sanu might have something for Ross Phillips after we put about 10-15 laps on these tires. Phillips is going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat to get back up here into this top 3 and mitigate the damage that Gardner's doing to him tonight. A lap led for the 16, so that's going to help in the points as well. And you're going to see that deficit in points for Gardner shaved down. It won't be 13 if he's able to have the outcome that we're currently seeing right now, 50 laps into this 145 lap race. And Floyd just loving what he's seeing in his mirror. Loving what he sees out in front of the truck as well. Complete open air. You have one truck way ahead, and I believe that's the 74 of Brian Hennings. But as they come down the backstretch, it's nothing but smooth sailing for the Beltway Coffee 24. He has led an cumulative 46 laps here tonight. On board with Nick Gardner, 1 lap led. He's up a position for where he began this race, but he's got a lot of time to make up. He has shaved the lead down a little bit. It's below 3 seconds now. And if you look at the last time by, Dakota Floyd a 32.9, a 32.8 for Nick Gardner. Gardner might be using up these tires to try to catch the 24 Floyd. So I think even if he does catch up to him, Floyd's been saving his stuff. He has no reason to push the issue. And once that gap reaches a certain threshold, you're going to see the 24 turn it on. I think it's pretty safe to say that Floyd is in. It's his race to lose at this point. He just has to be perfect on and off pit road. Pray that we don't have a caution to reset this field, get anybody back to his rear bumper on a restart, and just drive his race, drive the racetrack. That's the most important part of this formula, is not to worry about the relative or anyone around you. Navigate this lap traffic and just keep doing what you're doing, hit those marks, and this could be the moment for Dakota Floyd to finally get that win after starting on the pole here tonight. So the battle with John Sanu is starting to tighten up. I talked about the later run for the 86. He's catching up now to the 5 of Phillips. 0.4 of a second separating these two. As they go into 3 and 4, a little more time shaved off of that as well. The 5 still with heavy right side damage. You saw him clip the wall there in the first 10 laps, running 3 wide. And it's not in terrible shape, though. The new damage model does forgive a little bit compared to the older ones, but you have to be careful not to break a toe link or snap something on the suspension. That's the main factor in this new damage model that iRacing has developed. It's very easy to damage suspension components, even if cosmetically the truck still looks sound. and the aerodynamics are still there, the handling can completely dissipate after a couple taps to the wall. And it really depends on the racetrack and how fast you end up hitting that wall. Whether it's a safer barrier or not, that helps a little bit too. But you can see the 5 just not quite up to speed here. And John Sanu now knocking on the door. He's probably going to be there within a couple laps. So that lead got down below 3 seconds for a moment. Floyd stretches it back out over 3 seconds and starts to maintain. And lap 60 coming up quickly. These drivers doing a phenomenal job of ticking the laps away. Coming up on the halfway point of this race. And 55 laps led now for Dakota Floyd. Back here in the 8th spot, Morgan Cook and Todd Cleveland starting to heat up a battle for 8th position. Almost 0.2 of a second shaved off that last time by Cleveland. Getting back up to the rear bumper now of Cook. Oh, very loose there coming out of 1 and 2. Still trying to get the truck underneath of him. He drops it down to the bottom. He's going to bring it down pit road. Cook going to probably pull a strategy here. Let's see what he's got. Very short stint here for the 51, but here he comes down pit road now. Looks like 4 tires going on the 51. Only 17 laps on these tires before he brought it down pit road, so we'll have to wait and see if the 51 strategy pays off. I'm interested to see. This is kind of a gutsy call for the 51, but you got to do what you got to do. If it's not performing, bring it back out here with 4 fresh tires and see what you can do. Might be an advantage. We'll have to wait and see. The battle for 4th position has cooled off a little bit. It stretches back out to 0.6 of a second. Kyle Stewart came down pit road. Todd Cleveland's going to go around him into 6th position. But these guys only 20 laps into the stint, and we went 40 laps on that first run. Some of these guys are splitting the difference a little bit different. I would have to say that this could have been premeditated, or it could just be something that they're adapting to the circumstances of this race. I know that these drivers have limited tire sets in this league, so that might be a factor as well as to why they're pitting the way they're pitting. I think the 8... I thought I saw another truck coming down pit road here. That's the 74 of Hennings coming off the access road. But I wanted to say we had another truck outside of that was coming down. That must have been Hennings exiting pits that I saw. Down on that access road. 74 Hennings really out of shape right there on the front stretch. He's able to regain his composure and drive it back into 1. Shiny side up, but man, that thing snapped free on him out of 4. And just in front of him, that's 3rd place Rick Pagone right now. Sean Langton brought it down pit road as well in the 8th spot. See the 10 if I'm going to move out of the way there. Henning's on much fresher tires. No reason to contest that, but currently in the 3rd spot from 12th position where he began this race. Looking like there's a shot at a podium finish here for the number 10. Lloyd puts the 55, last week's winner, a lap down. Richie's going to lose one here. Then he goes right back to it. So maybe back. I don't believe he'll be on the lead lap with that pass. I think that was for his 2nd lap down. The 55 on the strategy with Kyle Stewart, Brian Hennings, Todd Cleveland, Morgan Cook, and Sean Langton have all hit the pit road. We still have 6 drivers that are out on the racetrack, the longest of which has been Thad Miller. 41 laps on this stint. And here he comes down pit road now. More tires going to go on the number 13. No, it looks like a fuel-only stop here for Thad Miller. Topped it off with fuel and down and away now for the 13. He's going to save one of those sets for later in this race. I would say he's probably going to pit again at about lap 110 and run this thing out to the very end with a set of 4 tires. I like the call, but some of these guys gambling, they're taking their sets early. Don't know how this is going to pan out. But the battle for 4th is back on. The 86 of John Sanu drops down to the inside, down the backstretch for the 4th position now on Ross Phillips. Able to get clear out of 3 and 4 in a change forward position. The late run speed that the 86 has shown. He's able to claw his way back up to the 5, and the 5 dives it down deep into the outside. But Sanu holds his composure down on the bottom, able to get a decent drive off down the backstretch. And Phillips, with a little bit of a struggle here tonight, falls back to 5th. Again, we'll talk about what this means. As you look at Phillips with this 13-point lead over Nick Gardner, if they finish the race the way it sits right now, that lead's going to dwindle down to just under 10 points. Gardner going to have his work cut out for him, but there is a chance, he does have a chance mathematically of winning this championship. It would be a real shame for Phillips, though, that he's led all season almost, for it to come down to that last race. It shows how competitive it is here at VSRL. And all over the back bumper of Sanu. The 5 of Phillips just not happy with how this truck's handling right now. He's driving it hard. This is the closest battle on the racetrack. Looking back here with 9th position, a little bit closer, I'd say. Todd Cleveland and Justin Ritchie. They're sitting at about 0.3 of a second from each other. Ritchie now peaks to the inside on the exit of 2. Gains a little bit of momentum. Let's see if he can carry this into 3 and 4. He'll dive it down into 1 and 2. Maybe a change for position on 9th spot. Doesn't quite get it there. He's going to be door to door with him out of 2. 44 Cleveland has the advantage on that high line, and these tires are worn out. 34 laps for some of these drivers. These guys are sitting around 12. But Cleveland actually has a 2-lap advantage over Richie on tires, and it doesn't matter. Richie gets by. So another spot there for the 55. Sanu pulls away from Phillips about half a second now. Rick Fagone has a solid gap for 3rd position. And the driver that was in 3rd before now being scored 1 lap down in 6th. And that's the number 8 of Langton. Probably going to see the rest of these drivers come down pit road here momentarily. The lead over Nick Gardner stretches out to over 4 seconds. The 24 has just navigated lap traffic perfectly, keeping this lead growing, doing what he needs to do. This could be the race for the 24 Floyd. So 5 cars still haven't pit. 24 of Floyd, the 16 of Gardner, the number 10 of Fagone, the 86 of Sanu, and the 5 of Phillips have all stayed out on the racetrack. With that second stint of cars, about 16 laps into their run, you have Sean Langton, Morgan Cook, the leader of that pack. The battle for 7th position starting to heat up here with Kyle Stewart and Morgan Cook. Stewart's going to dive it down deep into 1 and 2. The 51 of Cook's going to go up high. Let him have that position. Almost tags the wall, but the 41 gains a spot up to 7th now. .8 seconds to catch up to the number 8 of Langton. Now Rick Fagone coming from 3rd position down pit road. Down and away here for the number 10. Quick stop. Fuel only for the number 10. And he's going to save that last set, as is a lot of these drivers, for that final go. 24 Floyd down on pit road now. Looking like a tire stop for the 24. More tires confirmed here for the number 24. He's going to come out just outside the top 3. Nick Gardner, John Sanu still have to make their pit stops. It's another lap led there for the 16. And down pit road now for Nick Gardner. It's such a weird entry on that access road. These guys are actually upshifting to come into the pits. So you have to slow down to get to that access road, then speed back up to navigate it as quickly as you can, then brake again to get down to pit road speed. It's almost a road course to get on pit road. Fuel only stop there for Gardner. He takes 7.6 seconds in the box. Down and away now for the 16 with just under halfway. Or just over, rather. Halfway through this race. Just under halfway to go. And Johnson is still out there on the racetrack. Probably going to bring it down. He's been the guy stretching it out the furthest on all these stints. Interested to see if the other Beltway Coffee driver will take more tires or not. Watching the orangespeedvantage.ai 200 from Gateway. We're going to take another quick commercial break and be back right after this.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive. Especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life. So don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit, a custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver's style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes
Slack.
Slack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back live at Gateway. orangespeedvantage.ai 200 is 92 laps out of 145 laps into this race. And Dakota Floyd has led almost every single one of these laps. He's doing a phenomenal job out here tonight. 82 of the 93 complete goes to the number 24. Second round of green flag pit stops. Nick Gardner falls off over 5 seconds. Sean Langton, 19.5. Ross Phillips having a tough time here tonight. He falls all the way back to 7th position. And this helps out Nick Gardner even more with that points lead. Trying to shave away. Phillips going to have his work cut out for him. Some of these guys maybe taking 4 tires. Phillips looking like he only took fuel on that last stop. Nick Gardner also only taking fuel. So Phillips probably works his way back into the top 5, but prior to that moment, he wasn't any higher than 5th. John Sanu taking 4 tires as well. And you can see the difference in the guys that took tires to the guys that did not. There's Rick Fagone, and 86 and Sanu gets into the wall, running up on the back of the pin. We've had a few caution-like moments, but nobody's actually brought one out yet tonight. We've been clean and green since lap 1. For those cleaner tires, you have to be really patient with the guys in front of you. Sanu ran up on the back of the 10 of Pagone and unfortunately got into the wall. The 5 of Phillips, though, starting to challenge on Stewart for the 6th spot, even with old tires. So pass for 6th position now. 5 of Phillips gets the drive off, gets clear of the 41, sets his sights on the 10 of Pagone. Battles heating up all over the top 10, and we got 4th position back to 8th, all within a second of each other. Riding on board with the 41 of Stewart, who just got passed by Phillips. 22 seconds back from the lead of Dakota Floyd. But on the back bumper of your points leader in 6th. So gaining the most spots here tonight, the number 10 of Rick Fagone. He's in 5th. He was as high as 3rd position here tonight. Sean Langton works his way back into the top 3 after green flag pit stops. But some of these cars, like I said, have only taken fuel. Fagone in that ballpark of fuel-only stops, and Phillips just behind him. But here's the driver who's lost the most positions here tonight, and that's Morgan Cook. He goes to the inside of Thad Miller, not for position. Miller a lap down in 12th currently. But 8th spot, after starting in 2nd position. The 51 of Cook hits the wall there coming out of 4. So he's still battling a tight condition. He kind of put himself on an entirely different strategy than the rest of this field as well. But it just hasn't panned out quite the way I believe he hoped it would. So 6 positions lost now for Morgan Cook after starting outside the pole. Nick Gardner in another time zone here. Coming up on 100 laps led. After 100 laps into this race, 44 laps to go as they cross the line here. So some of these drivers starting to approach that pit window. The 41 of Kyle Stewart, the 51 of Morgan Cook. They're right on that line where they're going to have to come down pit road. And will they make it to the end? They have to stretch this run as far as it'll go. But I'd say numerically they can make it if they play it right. They're going to have to do a little bit of saving initially on the exit, but I think they can come back. John Lincoln brings it down pit road. Morgan Cook just behind him. So there's the first two. They're cutting it close, but I think they can make it to the end. They're going to have to save just a lap or two to make sure that it makes it and probably uncheck that auto fuel. I know many times that's gotten me in trouble. I hope these guys are mindful of that. iRacing will add just enough to what it thinks in the calculator, and every run is different. You could be in a different situation, clean air, maybe pushing it a little bit harder on the last stint. So you definitely want to turn that off and take the maximum amount of fuel that you can cram into this truck. And the 51 and the number 8 back out on the racetrack. Here comes Floyd around now. The monstrous 6.9 second lead over Nick Gardner. You can see what 7.3 seconds looks like. That was Floyd that went by first in that frame, and then Gardner there at the end. That's going to be a lot to overcome. It's going to take a caution, I think, for Nick Gardner to have a shot at the win here tonight. For anybody else to have a shot at the win, it's going to take a caution. Dakota Floyd is just that good here tonight. The 24 started in first. He's maintained it and dominated this race here at Gateway here tonight. Todd Cleveland coming down pit road now. 41 laps on the stint. Hopefully has that last set of tires to propel himself around this place for the final 40 laps or so. Right sides do go up on the number 44. And now left sides go down. He's down and away. Clean stop there for the 44. Nothing wrong with it. And a clean in and out of the box. A little bit slower than the rest of this field on pit road, though. Some of these drivers doing under 41 seconds. Cleveland, that time through 43.5, so going to lose a little bit of ground. Nick Gardner coming down pit road now. He's going to have that final set of tires, and Floyd will not. So I'm interested to see how this plays out as well, because Gardner is going to be able to put it all out there for the last 40. Whereas Floyd's going to just have to try to maintain the lead. Right sides go up on the 16. There's the 5 of Phillips just behind him hitting pit road. These two neck and neck in the points battle. Will it be enough? Saving that extra set of tires. Dakota Floyd on the outside now stays out for another lap. 29 laps on this stint. Gonna try to stretch it out as far as he can. The 24 does not want a caution. Out of tires. If this field accordion's back to him, he has lost the race, and it would be a repeat of every scenario. We can go back to Bristol where he should have had it. But gambling here by taking every set of tires on every single stop, the 24 team going to have to pit for fuel only this time by. He's going to stay out another lap. And ever so closer to the finish to wrap this thing up. The second to last race of the season. Coming down to under 20 points for the leaders in this points battle. Phillips gets by Stewart on the outside out of 1 and 2. Coming down the back stretch into the 6th position now. Battle's not over. Stewart dives to the inside of Phillips, trying to look for that 6th position back. Doesn't have the nose to peek it in there and get the run off the exit and drive the 5 a little higher than he wanted to. Doesn't have that opportunity. He settles back into 7th. This is the closest battle on the racetrack currently. If you're Dakota Floyd, when do you come down pit road? And we know that he's going to top off with fuel. Do you take just enough to make it to the end? Do you spare a second or two to get more than just enough fuel? In case of a green-white checker, in case a caution comes out. I know in case a caution comes out, could be devastating to the run that this 24 has had here tonight. Just putting on an absolute beatdown on the rest of this field. We don't see it too often where drivers stretch out a lead this giant, but the 24 has everybody but John Sanu a lap down. John Sanu back here in heavy traffic with the 41 and the 5 racing side by side. Sanu, another driver that does not want a caution. He used up all those tire sets. And it's always been a catch-22. Saving that extra set of tires for in case a caution happens, but then it doesn't. So then you take every set of tires, and then it's almost guaranteed that the caution does come out. And I feel like if I say caution 10 more times, they're going to have one. Floyd's still out there, and I know the longer this run goes, the more time that Nick Gardner starts to make up. Hasn't caught up to Floyd just yet, but those fresher tires going to be an advantage overall. He's got about 8 laps on him. Probably has to save a little bit here in the tank to make it to the end, but if we stay green, I think the 16 and the 24 are going to have a battle in our hands here. With about 5 to go, I think this is going to be a good race. I know it doesn't seem it right now. It's been clean and green, and not to take anything away from these drivers, but it is spread out. And so I think we're... There you go. And it's the number 5 of Ross Phillips who has to tow, and he is actually done for the night. Let's go back on the instant replay. It looks like heavy damage here on the 5. Let's back it up one more time. Hits the wall a little bit there. The 41 on the back bumper. And the 41 gets into the back of him. And the 41 of Stewart also out of the race. I believe he got heavy damage from that. But let's ride on board with the number 5 here. I think he had some help. He did. And deep into the corner, into the outside wall. And that brings out our first caution of the night on lap 118. Well, this shakes everything up. The 24 Floyd coming down pit road, and I don't think he has any tires left. Let's wait and see what he's got here. It's another race that's got away from the 24 of Floyd. He takes his fuel. Johnson, who comes down as well. And Nick Gardner now, after that stop, a little bit fresher tires than Sean Langton, with about 20 laps to go when we go back green. This race could have just been given away there. Gardner going to absolutely capitalize on the points here tonight. Phillips out of the race. This shakes everything up. I could tell you what's on Dakota Floyd's mind. It's Bristol all over again. He has to be upset. But as the rest of the field unlaps itself from the phenomenal dominant performance, shout out to this guy, the 24 Dakota Floyd, for leading 110 laps here tonight. He might get to lead a few more, but it's going to be close. I think Nick Gardner might have something for him here with these fresher tires. We'll have to wait and see, as we have about 20 to go when that pace car pulls off. We're going to use this as an opportunity to step away for a moment. You're watching the Orange Speed Vantage .ai 200 live from Gateway. We'll be back right after this.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The Milo gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Here live, orangespeedvantage.ai 200 getting set to go green. The wave arounds have happened, and for every car that's on the inside row, they just got a wave around. But it's the 24 of Dakota Floyd, the 86 of John Sanu, the number 8 of Sean Langton. We're going to go back green with about 20 laps to go at Gateway. And Nick Gardner working his way through the field as quickly as he can. The next guy in front of him is the 51 of Morgan Cook. Side by side back here with the 41. That's Kyle Stewart, who got into the back of Ross Phillips, your points leader. And there's Rick Fagone running to the bottom, almost 3 wide down the backstretch. The inside of the 55 of Justin Ritchie. Nick Gardner starting to close in on the back bumper. The 44 of Cleveland hung up on the outside. Stewart going to go by on the inside. Fagone able to clear the 55 of Ritchie. Now for the 6th spot. Well, he cleared it momentarily, but Ritchie gets back to the outside on the exit of 4 with a good drive off there. And the only side-by-side now is the 55 and the 10 go down the backstretch. Langton gets by on the inside of John Sanu. Runs him way up the racetrack here on the exit of 4. Playing defense for his teammate, Dakota Floyd, trying to hang on. He just has to do it for 16 more laps. So you're telling me there's a chance? The number 8. Had a rough day all night. It's been in the top 5. He's been outside looking in since lap 1. And now finds an opportunity here with just a second separating. And he's ahead of Nick Gardner, who's trying to get by John Sanu here. Dives it down to the inside. Gets clear of the 86 down the backstretch. Nick Gardner now trying to chase down Sean Langton. 15 laps to go. Both these drivers trying to chase the dominant car of the night. That's the 24 of Dakota Floyd. He's going to lead 120 laps here at Gateway in an unbelievable race. If he can pull this off, he's got his work cut out for him, though. Much fresher tires of about 10 to 12 laps behind him in the number 8 of Langton, the 16 of Gardner. His teammate Sanu played defense for him as long as he could, but now Langton and Gardner are catching up to him. That time by the number 8, the fastest car on the racetrack with a 33.717. He is shaving down the time. Gardner not even close to that time. And losing a little bit of ground. Actually slower than the lead car, and the number 24 Floyd might have something for Langton. We'll have to wait and see. It's through 3 and 4 with the number 8's tires really come into play. You can see in the entrance he shaves down almost 1/10 of a second. Here on the exit now, Floyd with 30 laps on his tires. Well, we could say a little bit more than that, but he came down pit road and topped off with fuel to make it to the end of this race. Trying to maintain that half a second gap here. Some racing going on back here for the 5th position. Morgan Cook and John Sanu side by side. Cook's going to get by him. Rick Fagone and Todd Cleveland next in line to try to get around this 44. 44 actually being scored 1 lap down, rather. So the pass was from John Sanu and Rick Fagone trying to get around these two. Battle for the lead heating up, though. 0.4 of a second. Nick Gardner last time by, well, he was faster than Sean Langton by about 0.2. That lead dwindling down a little bit more each lap in these two trucks, 8 and 16. All over the 24 in the closing laps of the second to last race. The Orange Speed Vantage AI 200
Yellow flag is out.
has brought out another yellow. And the 51 of Morgan Cook pinned against the wall here. Done for the night. If you want to Cook gets into the side of the 44, then gets pinned against the wall. Brian Henning's involved. And that wheel for the 51 of Cook looking like it's stuck on the right-hand lock. So that impact with the outside wall enough to break something in the front end of that truck. But this shakes it up all over again. After all this, the only thing I can take away from it is that the fresher tires behind Dakota Floyd with a 4-lap shootout might not be as much of a factor. I know the run was coming into play here, the factors of these guys chasing him down, having to navigate the traffic, but now we're in a situation where I think Floyd can get a good restart and get a gap on these guys. He might be able to run away with it. He might, just might be able to win this race if he gets a good jump on the start. He has to be careful not to jump it too early in that restart zone, which I don't know for sure. Gateway is a little bit of an older track. It might not have a restart zone that iRacing will actually score. So they might be in a situation where Floyd can just dictate the lead as soon as that pace car pulls off and pull out. And we got the 8 of Langton with fresher tires, but he's going to be kind of on the catbird seat, as they like to call it. He's going to be outside looking in at that leader when he's going to anticipate that start. And sometimes that can cause wheel spin, that can delay your start because you're trying to keep that front end in front of you to see what the leader's going to do. It can sometimes lag you back a little bit. And then you have Nick Gardner, who's going to immediately be to his inside because of that. And these two are going to race side by side. I think Floyd can run away with this if those two start racing side by side. It'll be interesting to see. But Gardner, I mean, I think he has the truck to win this race. I don't think Langton does have the speed. During those green flag laps, Langton really starting to fall off, and Gardner was chasing him down. But we're going to have 4 laps to go when we take the green flag, and we're going to find out what this 24 truck is made of here tonight. Dominating performance, has led over 100 laps, doesn't have that last set of tires. They took them all during the green flag pit stops, and damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's how it always has been when it comes to limited tire sets at any racetrack. It's about to get really interesting. Beltway Coffee on the front row. Started up front on the pole. How many pole position rewards from Bald Head Island Vacations can the 24 get before he finally puts one in the trophy case? Green flag back up in the air, and we're going to go live for 4 laps.
Green flag, green flag.
He gets the jump that he needs. Now he needs the 16 to get to the inside of Langton. That happens as well. The 16 dives it down into 1 and 2, but not for very long. Now the racing's going to ensue. The 24 puts a block on the 8 of Langton all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. Side by side as they go into 3 and 4. Now right up on the bumper of Langton. The 16 of Gardner did not get it going. 3 laps to go now. Dakota Floyd driving with all he has left. If there's anything left on those tires, they're going to be bald by the end of this race. Side by side out of 2. Gets the nose in there. Langton dives it down. A shallow block there just to check on the 24. He gets a good angle here on the rumble strips. A good drive off out of 4. He's going to get the run down the front stretch. And those fresher tires from the 16 starting to come into play now. 2 laps to go. Floyd dives it down to the bottom. Gardner has nothing for him right now. Sean Langton gonna take the white flag. Presented by VRX Simulators. And Sean Langton just has to get around this racetrack one more time without a mistake. Back down to the bottom of the racetrack, keeping him out of the slipstream. Sean Langton looking to capitalize on the situation. Ran just outside the top 3 most of the night, but off of turn 4 for the final time. Sean Langton is going to do it. He's going to win the second to last race, and the Orange Speed Vantage AI 200 goes to the number 8 of Sean Langton. Orange Speed's very own gets the win at the race they sponsor. And after a lot of trucks for that team get destroyed, Sean Langton seizes the opportunity and beats the dominant number 24 truck. You're watching the SET Truck Series live on VSPEED. Second to last race of the SET Truck Series at Gateway. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and your winner, top 3, getting the interview here tonight. We'll be back right after this. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life, so don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit. A custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver's style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
I played a couple of simulators, and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff. The motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving. It feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Back here live, orangespeedvantage.ai 200 at Gateway has concluded their 145 laps for 188.9 miles in the second to last race of the chase. This regular season has been shaken up. Somehow Dakota Floyd able to hang on to that second position. But we're going down trackside now. We're going to get some post-race interviews going. And we've got quite a few of them here tonight. First driver we want to pull up and talk to here, we've got your third place finisher, and that's the 16 of Nick Gardner. And Nick, man, I thought you had it. I thought those tires were good enough, but it seemed like they really just evened out there on that last run.
Yeah, it sure did, man. You know, it really sucks because, you know, I was like 3 seconds from the leader to get my lap back. And then when the caution comes out, I'm the lucky dog, so I got to start behind everyone. So I used up a lot of tires just trying to get to the front, and then it kind of evened out once we got up there. So I really hated that first caution came out, man. I was really looking forward to see how the strategy would have worked out because I planted about 3 different strategies in my head, and the one I went with I thought was going to be money. I really thought it was going to be clutch because I feel like Dakota would have had it pitted one more time, and I was good to the end, and I was literally getting ready to pass him. So, damn, I hate it. I really do. I mean, I can't be too upset because it's a third place. It's a good point stay. I know the points are going to be close going into the last race of the season, but man, I just wanted at least a shot at it there. So, but oh well, good one for Sean, and it's fun racing with Dakota up there.
Yeah, you could have maximized the damage done here tonight. The 5 of Phillips DNFing here tonight, that would have probably put you within a point or two going into Chicagoland, but even then, I think you're going to be within 5 as we go to Chicago. And you come here to this racetrack, it's pretty obvious that you've been putting the practice in to get around these places, really turning up the heat here in the chase.
Yeah, man, I really have. Normally I'll take a little bit of time, you know, like the night before and kind of do like a little test session of myself and kind of just get in the rhythm of the racetrack, feel it out, especially with the new update. You never know what you're going to get, but but the grip was phenomenal tonight. I mean, especially out of 3 and 4, I mean, you could really get on the gas early and throttle up, and I mean, even on the long runs, I mean, it felt awesome. So, but yeah, man, I've been putting in the work. You know, I had a feeling it was going to come down between me and Philip and Sean and Dakota. Those 4 have been stout all year. So just trying to keep up with them, trying to keep up with their pace, trying to collect the bonus points, trying to get the pole, trying to finish with 0x and lead laps, and, you know, trying to do everything I can to just at least stay within just a distance of this championship, you know. So it's been a fun battle.
It's been fun to watch too as we go into Chicagoland. I know you're going to do the practicing. You've already talked about that, but Nick, what makes it happen? Who's behind you here? Who do you have to shout out?
Just shout out my my teammates, of course, from Outcast Motorsports. You know, Rick, he's fun to work with each and every night. Richard, when he is here, obviously had work thing to go to, but appreciate him. Shout out him because he normally helps me out when I am struggling. And then you, Bradley, for doing the league and then the broadcast, man, killing it like always. Garrett, I know I haven't heard a thing from him all night. I know he's battling a little flu, so I hope he gets better. Appreciate him even coming out here and doing this deal with him being sick and everything. So I hope he gets better. But just appreciate the league in general. It's fun to be a part of, and it's what keeps me coming back.
We appreciate your time, Nick, and thanks for making it interesting because going into Chicago, it's going to be fun to watch and see the outcome. Nick Gardner, third place finisher here tonight. We thank you for your time.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you.
So there's third place here tonight, and let's move it on down pit road. We have the number 24 of Dakota Floyd, second place finisher here tonight, and it really feels like you should have won that race. I mean, the cards just fell. It seems like every time you have a dominant race, there's a caution at the worst possible time for you.
I cannot believe it, honestly. I was like, there's no way we go 120 laps and we get a caution at the end. I was dumbfounded, honestly, but yeah, it's racing. It happens. Happens to the best of us, unfortunately, and I really thought I had that one sealed up.
So I'll ask again, how many pole awards do you have to get before you get a win here at VSRL?
Too goddamn many, apparently. Oh my lord, the truck felt great. I had something figured out that I could just drive the wheels off of it and the tires stayed on it. It helped that the track was cold as hell. It was very grippy. In practice, it would get very tight very quickly. And as soon as we got into qualifying, the track temp dropped drastically. And I mean, our qualifying times were all a second faster than our practice times. So I think just having that grip, I felt like I could drive the truck in super deep and still get it rotated the whole run. But those late cautions, man, even that first caution, I even felt like I was holding Sean and Nick back at a gap, and I was like, okay, they're back there, they're not getting to me, I should be good. And then that last caution came out, and
it looked like you were maintaining pretty well. Even after that second caution, I thought maybe if you could get back to the inside of Langton, maybe loosen him up a little bit or door him. It was kind of ill time there with when you had a problem because you were pretty much perfect all night, but you had that one issue off of turn 2 that allowed Langton to get to your inside.
Yeah, I thought I didn't need to downshift coming out of 2, and I think that just really bogged down my speed, and he got a massive run. I couldn't block him any further down the backstretch, so I had to let him come back up. I didn't want to wreck him to win the race. That's not how I want to win. He just managed to pick it up at the end, so I can't fault him for it.
We're sitting here looking at some of the most dramatic points that we've probably seen here at VSRL, and I think this is the third season that I've been here, been a part of it. You come out here shaking it up with these guys. I know that you put the time in here. You put the time in at several places, but we're going to Chicagoland. What's your outtake on that? Do you think you can finally seal the deal and just get one under your belt?
I absolutely love Chicagoland. I'm really good there in the Gen 4 car, and I can't imagine I'd be any worse in the truck. So I'm definitely gonna turn some practice laps. I'm gonna find a long run race line, and I'm gonna try my best. But Chicagoland could be a toss up across the board. A lot of people are really good at Chicagoland, so I can't imagine a lot of these guys will be slow by any stretch of the imagination. So I'll have to put the time in this week to see if I can finally get me one.
Well, Dakota, I know man, I was rooting for you. I know that there's a lot of people out there that back you up and think about that kind of stuff and come out here to watch. Go ahead and shout them out if you got them.
Yeah, we'll start with a shout out with the lead guys. I know Garrett, and I got brought on as admin late, but all these guys that put all the work into this truck series this season, Garrett, Kyle, Morgan, Thad, all those guys, Sean. This has been an absolute blast, and I can't believe we're at the finale next week. That's unbelievable. But seriously, shout out to those guys. Put on a hell of a season for us to race. Shout out to you, Coop, putting on the broadcast with VSPEED. Definitely, probably the best broadcast I've raced on and get to go back and watch. So keep it up.
Appreciate that.
And I want to shout out, all the people watching the broadcast. You guys give us something to race for. Put on a good show. Shout out to the team, 16-1. John, Jacob couldn't make it tonight. He's on vacation right now. And shout out to John. He was going to have a really good finish too if those cautions didn't come out. Shout out to the sponsors on the truck, Beltway Coffee and Luke Transport. And then shout out to my girlfriend who supports me week in and week out.
Well, those are all the important things. We appreciate your time, Dakota, and thank you for the compliments. We'll keep doing what we're doing. You keep doing what you're doing. I think it's just right around the corner. Let's hope we can get it at Chicagoland. But second place here tonight. 131 laps led. Pole sitter, Dakota Floyd.
Appreciate it, Coop. Have a good night.
And finally, we're down pit road. We get to victory lane, and your race winner, Sean Langton, putting another one under his belt. The opportunity presented itself. You found yourself almost in the backstretch grass, but you're able to get by the 24 Floyd and set sail for the checkered flag.
Yeah, thank you, Bradley. That was a fun one. I thought I had a solid like third place car. Just was gonna get the points and move into the final week, but that last caution came out, and before that, I was reeling him in and just kind of hanging with him. I thought he was just saving his stuff for the last like 5 laps, but I don't know. I think I built some pressure up in my right rear, just driving sideways, driving off the right rear. And then when that last green flag run went, I just had crazy grip. My truck was nice and free and fast, and it was all mine. I was just setting sail, and I thought he bobbled a little bit in 1 and 2. That's what gave me the good run. But I talked to Dakota, and he said that he was just kind of playing a little conservative, and I was just on the chip in third gear and shifted perfect in the fourth.
So we talked about the mistake-free race that Floyd had. Your race started out a little rough. You got into some traffic. You kind of fell back a little bit, and the times started to pick up there for the top 2. You were about 18 seconds outside of the lead, but that caution just shakes everything up. What was the strategy going into this race, and how did it change when that yellow came out?
Yeah, like I said, I was probably just gonna settle in third place, maybe fourth place. I'm not really good at saving my tires on that kind of track with the long run, so they were obviously better than that. The strategy was we came in at 60, lap 60. We short pitted that one, and then we were just gonna go a little over like 42 and 42 to the end. And yeah, the caution changed everything, and I still didn't think I was gonna get it. I thought that Nick had good short run speed. He was gonna get up there and battle with Dakota. Like I said, something clicked, and I think the way I was like driving off the right rear, it was building up pressure or heating it or something. And with the sun going down, it was just a good combo. And I was flying those last few laps.
The new dynamic track data, I know that it threw a variable into how you guys got around this place here tonight. And I just got to add, you're going to be right there on the cusp as well. We talked to Nick Gardner about the capitalization of points, and I know he's a teammate, but Ross Phillips DNFing here tonight, that puts you guys within 10 of the points lead going into Chicagoland. Mathematically possible. Sean, what do you have in store for us at Chicago?
I think you just got to get off strategy, really. I think I got to do something that they don't, have better tires at the end. We'll talk to Morgan. He's the strategy pro, and we'll figure something good out for Chicago.
Outside of that, Sean, I know it's been a great season. I think you've gotten more wins this season than you had in the previous 2 combined. So you're having a great year. Do you have anybody you'd like to shout out?
Just want to thank my team, Orange Speed. Couldn't do without you guys. Great group. Thank you, Ryan. Vantage AI, 603designs.com. Hit up Charlie if you need a cool paint job. Hit up Thad for baldheadislandvacations.com. Vantage, of course. I already mentioned Vantage. VSRL. Check out VSPEED, the best broadcasting channel on the web.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, man. And hi to my parents at home. Thanks for watching.
Well, shout out to the Langton family. He gets another one here tonight at Gateway. Setting sail into the points. It's going to be a close battle. We've got Ross Phillips. We've got Sean Langton. We've got Nick Gardner all in that top 3, and it tightened up big time here tonight after that win. Congratulations, Sean.
Thank you, Bradley.
So race winner here tonight under the lights in Gateway, and it was a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed it here tonight. If you did enjoy tonight's broadcast, well, first let's go ahead and take you through your final results. Let's take you through that right now. There's your top 3. We just talked to Langton, Floyd, and Gardner. That points battle is going to be close. John Sanu's going to bring it home in 4th position with Rick Fagone in the top 5. Great race for the 10 truck here tonight. Justin Ritchie, last week's winner, bringing it home in 6th. Brian Hennings in 7th. Kyle Stewart got into the back of Ross Phillips. I'm sure there'll be a discussion about it. Not intentional by any means, but the number 41 is going to bring it home 8th. 44 of Todd Cleveland, a lap down. So was Kyle Stewart. Thad Miller, 2 laps down. That'll round out your top 10. And then you have the 2 other drivers to make it out on the field here tonight. Morgan Cook, who started outside the pole, falls back 9 spots to 11th. Ross Phillips, DNFs here tonight. And shout out to Garrett Helmlinger. I didn't realize that he was sick here tonight, but kudos to him for doing what he did and all he makes possible here at this league. The VSRL SCT Truck Series puts another one in the books. The second to last race of the season at Gateway. If you guys enjoyed tonight's broadcast live on VSPEED, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss a single race. We bring you flag-to-flag coverage next week at Chicagoland for the final race of the Vector Sim Racing League, the Southeast Tutoring Truck Series at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Chicagoland, be there, don't miss it. Tomorrow night, more racing action. BTDY, they're in their chase format as well. Make sure you catch that at 8:35 p.m. But for everybody at VSPEED, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, this is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great week. Enjoy your night. Take care, everybody.
I played a couple of simulators and this was like very responsive, especially the hydraulics and stuff, the motion and stuff was really, really on point.
Make you feel like you're really driving, it feels real.
It adds so much to the experience. It's just really, really cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life. So don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit. A custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.